What is up, customers for life, or profit productivity, or wherever you're seeing this? When I say that this is probably going to get distributed all across the channels. Let's talk about content. I just had a private client ask me, how do you just crank out content? You always know what to say. It connects really well. I just don't want to think about it anymore. It's good news. I don't really have to think about my content. I'm going to show you the process that I use. Now, it's an amalgamation of systems and processes and frameworks. And so I'm going to put it all together and teach it in like a master class or challenge format. I don't really want to charge for it. I don't want to create a new, full disclosure, I don't really want to create a new checkout page and follow up. And I just want to provide this content in a way that it's structured and you pay attention and you have access to it. So there's three primary components, and that is, it's not pain, it's not whatever internet marketers are selling you. If you just want to show up and make content, there's a very good framework for it. And it's based in stealth influence. It's based on the understanding that the number one, look at the stuff going on in the world right now. The number one pain is that we feel misunderstood, right? Nobody understands us. And there's adoption decisions. There's 5 adoption decisions. And once you understand these adoption decisions, there's 2 frameworks you can use, which I'll share with you shortly. Okay. So I just made this for a private client. I'll share it with you real quick. Here's a video breakdown that was super custom to them. And again, I got to build this into a course, so it's a little bit easier for them. Stealth influence with field misunderstood adoption decisions. There's a video breaking it down. Okay, but here's the general outline. It's first, we have to understand what we're actually trying to accomplish. So this is this is a super advanced version. So I'm going to go straight to the stuff that we need. This is what I call the sacred cow killer. Okay. So this is something that we've used with clients and so on and so forth for a while. It's in the Customers for Life bundle. What do we need them to believe so that they become a good client of our thing? Right? Most of us don't even know this. So ClickFunnels, for example, is that they are one funnel away, and you need ClickFunnels to build that funnel. So all of the content, that is the belief that they're trying to instill, right? Customers for Life, I could say retention is better than sales, and the only way to combine them is Customers for Life, right? If that's what I want you to believe, great. So first, what do we need them to believe so they'll buy our thing, so they'll be a good fit for what we do? And then we have to do work. This isn't a freaking avatar worksheet where we make stuff up. We say, what is the false belief that they have right now? What's the experience that gave them that belief, right? They have that belief for a reason. What is a story they tell themselves? So put yourself in your shoes, and what is a story they tell themselves? This is all developing empathy for the people you're talking to. And then, so you say, I can't raise my prices. And they just had a client go with somebody that is cheaper. So that's the experience they had. So the story they tell themselves is, if I raise my prices again, I'm going to lose all my clients. Then we dig out either a personal story or a client story, like a testimonial. It doesn't have to be a client. It could be a friend. It could be a parable. I use parables all the time. A story that crushes this false belief. So here's the false belief. Here's the experience. Here's a story they tell themselves. We need to understand that so that we can compile personal and client stories that crush these beliefs, these false beliefs. Okay, that's just step 1. That's the most intensive. You really do need to do that work. Okay. And then we use a Pixar framework to tell these stories. So once upon a time, yada, yada, yada. Things were horrible, and then this happened, and things were good, and then they lived happily ever after. I do have the Pixar framework in the course, the Customers for Life course. Okay. And then once we have these underlying objections and the stories that we can tell, right? We want to understand the adoption decisions, which is a full training in itself. I'm not going to get too heavy into that. And then we pull up this trust profile, which I got from Trust Accelerator. They were great service providers. I don't think they continued their business, but great service provider. So this comes from them. I want to give credit where credit is due. But now look, we take this personal or client story that we have compiled, right? And we run it through these lenses. So we take one story and the content is just actionable. Hey, you know what I want you to do? Go live today. Okay, go live today, say this, see what happens. So we took this story, which was, she was really nervous to go live, but then she did it and this happened. And we ran it through this lens. See, what we do all the time is all of my content naturally is actionable or anthropological. I talk about human behavior. I don't tell aspirational stories and I don't give analytical breakdowns, right? Which is ridiculous. I should. So we take one story that we already know, bust this belief, and then we make content, written, audio, video, whatever. We take content, but that we make content and it's just actionable. We just tell a story and then tell them what to do. Okay. We could take that same exact story in another piece of content and make it aspirational. We just share an inspiring story or real life example. Right. And then we take the same exact story and we break it down into here's the numbers, here's the data, here's the facts. Right. We speak to the analytical people, which is also a great exercise for us because most of us only hang out in one of these. So we run out of content. We could go back to all of our best content, find out that it's all aspirational, and all we have to do is make the same content anthropological, which is, this is why it happens. This is how humans think. These are the biases. This is why we mean to do a thing, but don't do a thing, right? So we just talk about the study of actual human behavior, right? So now you have one false belief. You understand the experience that gave them the belief. You know the story they tell themselves, so you can really connect with them, right? Because here, they feel misunderstood. Don't dig for pain. Instead, show them you understand them. It'll work 100 times better, right? And now we have this personal or client story or parable or whatever, right? It could be a freaking Disney. You could write it about Frozen. Doesn't really matter. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the original story, 5 pieces of content. And we should have like 20 different beliefs, which is 100 different pieces of content. But it's all strategic. There is a purpose. Okay. This is the actionable lens of this particular story. This is the aspirational lens of this particular story. This is the analytical. Right. So you might hit your list over and over and over. This is how I make money off other people's lists so quickly. I see that they've only talked to them through one lens. And all we do is we take the same exact emails, the same videos, the same podcasts, and we talk about it through a different lens. And a whole different segment of buyers on their list buys. Okay. Adoption decisions. This one gets relative advantage, complexity, compatibility, trialability, observability, right? So we can actually take the content and say, how do we just take this story and show them the relative advantage over how I helped this person versus how another company helped them? How do we show how simple it was? How do we show how compatible with our beliefs it is? And how do we show observability? Okay. Mediums. We all know the mediums. I'll teach that in depth. I have a framework that all my content falls into. So all I have to do, it is so easy to just go live or crank out an email. The framework's already built. And there's 2 methods. Okay, there's 2 methods. The systematic method, which would literally be what I just taught you. Line these out. Okay, map them. And then it's okay, Monday, I'm going to talk about this story through the analytical lens. Tuesday, I'm going to talk about this story through the anthropological lens. You can just map it out however you want. Or you can do what I do, which is the science of hindsight. I just go by feel. I just show up and I do whatever I feel like doing. And then about once every 2 weeks, I just check myself. I say, okay, am I overly concentrated in one lens, or am I overly concentrated in one adoption decision? Like I keep talking about simplicity, and I keep giving them action steps, right? But I haven't told a story or broken down the numbers or tied it back to human behavior in a while. So I'll adjust course. So I prefer to just ready, fire, aim when the muse strikes, but I use the science of hindsight, right, to make sure that I'm not overly concentrated in any one lens or any one adoption decision. Okay, it allows me to just go. Okay, let me know if that makes sense. So I'll put this all together. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modules probably. So we'll probably have 6 modules there. What I'm thinking about doing is teaching this live right direct into the group for book buyers. So earncustomersforlife.com. It's $5, literally $5 to just go buy the book and then get in the member community. I'm probably going to teach it live right there, straight into the community. And then the replays and the Zoom and the Q&A will probably be for bundle buyers, which is $97 for VIP access. So basically, you're looking at $97 for VIP access, Zoom calls, and replays, plus worksheets and deliverables. So all the worksheets that I just showed you, you can have them if you're in the bundle, right? I just got to rebuild them so they're pretty. It's helpful though, right? That makes sense. Everybody's looking to make new content. Just run the same content strategically through these lenses and these frameworks, and it's going to hit the people that already like you, right? 25% of them buy from stories, 25% buy from data, 25% buy from, anthropological stuff, the way you think about human behavior. And you're not talking, like you're probably talking to one lens, which means about 25% of your buyers have actually bought from you. You just run the same stuff that converts through those other lenses. And again, a shout out to Jack and Bryant, who actually created that trust profile spreadsheet for me. Jack Butcher and Bryant from the Trust Accelerator. Hopefully it's useful. It's super simple. Once you get that foundational work done, you just show up and talk, and you just you crush people's objections consistently, and you never have to dig for pain, and there's never any friction. Let me know what you think. Drop your biggest takeaway, and if you want in on that master class or that live or that challenge, however I run it, whatever's going to be the easiest. I don't want to waste a bunch of time getting people excited about a challenge, to be honest. Let me know.